Welcome back. Now, a bill seeking the alteration of the 1999 Constitution to create a new Oyo state passed its second reading in the House of Representatives recently. Akeem Adeyemi, the bill sponsor, proposed state will have Oyo town as its capital city. Adeyemi, in his words, stated, "It's noteworthy that the present Oyo state deserves to be split into two, being the largest city in terms of landmass in the southwest geopolitical zone, with 33 local governments and a population of over 5 million persons, according to the 2006 census. The new Oyo state, when created, will have all the factors to be economically and politically viable and sustainable." End of quote. Let's listen to what the sponsor of the bill did say.
To stand in for the debate on the bill for an act to alter the Constitution of the Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended to create new Oyo State with Oyo Town as the capital city from Oyo State. Effect consequential change of the name of the remaining part of Oyo State to Ibadan State with Ibadan City as the capital city and define for local government areas comprising the two states and for related matters.
Well, joining me at this time to discuss this is Lanre Toluhi, is a social and political commentator. Thank you for your time on the program, Lanre.
Hey, thank you, Dapo, and it's a great honor to be here again.
I mean, it's great to also have you. Great. Now, let me just ask you, plainly, I mean, looking at all the economic challenges and the constraint in terms of finances, budget, and all of that, does Nigeria need a new state to the list of states that it already has? And I mean, also looking at the fact that we are talking about cutting the cost of governance.
Truly, Dapo, look, when you see stuff like that happen, it takes us to what I always say, our leadership recruitment process, which is being known to be very, very faulty. Because we know that what the Honorable is just doing is probably just dancing and playing to the gallery. There's no need for a state. You see, when he's trying to justify that, because I see what he's saying, talking about 5 million people in Oyo State, talking about the landmass of Oyo State. The whole of Oyo State is here as large in terms of landmass as Niger, which we know is way, way larger than Niger is not asking for 2 states. Now, yes, some might want to argue that look, when we have states divided like that, you bring governance close to people. But you see, even at the local government council, they have 33 local government in Oyo State, and all if they cannot get governance to them, even at local government level, then is it when they now have a state that governance gets to them. We all know what has been happening in Nigeria. Look, we can actually go back to the pre-colonial era where we have the regions, where we have the northern, the western, and the eastern region. If we want to tell ourselves the truth, we had more peace, we had more cohesiveness whilst we were there. And we knew that when we went even to the Civil War, and after Civil War in 1963, General Gowon, 67 rather, General Gowon felt okay because there is a lot of bad blood, and with the no victor, no vanquish statement, speech he made, they felt there is the need to have states, and we have 6 states and we have 12 states in Nigeria. See, we cannot deny the fact that while we had the regional, while we had this 12 states, Nigeria was more developed, Nigeria had more unity, Nigeria had more cohesiveness, Nigeria was more productive, Nigeria had more strength in terms of all that. So dividing and having various states, the man needs to understand that Oyo State cannot just be brought out and say, look, we are dividing Oyo State into 2. No, because if it's coming for Oyo State, having two states from Oyo State, you'll be surprised that somebody in Delta will want to have 3 states, somebody in Kogi want to have like about 4 states, somebody in
I mean, talking about ripple effect, sorry to cut in, Lanre, talking about ripple effect, there's also a push for an Ogoja state out of Cross River. So, but let me leave you for a moment. Let me bring in Baba Yomi Kayode. Is actually the AAC state chairman. That's Action Alliance Congress, state chairman or your chapter. Thank you for your time. Do you think that it's best to create another state from your state? I know that that is your base.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dapo. Let me quickly say this. I'm the state chairman of the African Action Congress.
African
AAC,
Action Congress. Pardon me, please.
Yes, African Action Congress, AAC. Thank you. Concerning the bill that was sponsored by one of the late Alaafin's son, the Adeyemi's family, we want to say, or I personally want to say that such a bill is just a waste of time. It's a frivolous bill, and we want to make it clear, like I've said in our statement, that it is clear that we don't need more states, but better representatives and good governance. Even though out of what we have now, we will create more states within Oyo State under this same leadership and governance pattern that is mad with, misappropriations, wickedness, impunity, faithlessness, and all. We are still going to emerge and come to the same position we find ourselves now. There will be no positive outcome will come out from it. So what we need to prioritize is, holding our representatives, having a good leadership at this very point in time, not more states. You will know that creation of more states would mean more governors, more senators, more House of Assembly, and voluminous essays. That is a cost of governance on its own. So we don't need more states. And even though you want to create more states, like I said on a Twitter space yesterday, you have to create Oyo State as Oyo Town as the capital. Is it Buredi Oyo will be their source of IGR? Or I don't know. I don't get. Or I don't. We just have to be realistic.
I mean, talking about viability. I'm sorry to interrupt you, because that's also another point of conversation. How many states in Nigeria currently are self-sustaining once they do not get allocation from the center? How many states can actually stand on their own? That is a strong point.
That is even another issue on its own. That even though the states that we have they been able to be to sustain what they have currently. Even though, before we start talking about creation of more states, the local government autonomy that we have on ground, has it been in practice? Because if the local government is in place, the local government autonomy is in place, I think we should experience that first before coming on board to say there's more creation of states. I think the sponsor of the bill is just looking for a political patronage, or something kind to tickle the local politicians in Oyo ahead 2027. The bill is dead on its arrival on its own, as we all know. That even though in the current constitution we have, there's no space for that. We know that the bill is an onerous bill. It is very, very tedious. Now coming to say, okay, I want to start to have a new state. One of the states. Let me take for example, Bayelsa State happens to be one of the oil producing states as we speak in Nigeria. Their local government is not up to 10, and as I speak to you, they are struggling with development. So, what should be the hope of the new creation of Ibadan and Oyo State, which that Oyo Town will be the capital? So it is just that we should also fault the Green Chambers, the National House of Representatives, for allowing such bill to come up. The bill enforces along a position that we need a bicameral legislation. Our representatives are just there doing nothing. I don't expect such a bill to even come to the light of the day, let alone come into the second hearing.
Okay.
If our representatives should focus more on bills that will profit and better the lives of Nigerians, not this kind of bill. This is just a waste of time, and they all know that the bill will not, live to long. But it is what it is.
Okay, now let me go back to.
So we want to state this clearly that we don't need more states. You said?
No. Yeah, land on your point. You said you want to make a statement. You want to say something clearly. Please land on your point.
Yeah, we want to make it clear that we don't need more states. But better representatives and good governance is what we need at its pace now.
Okay,
we don't need more states. In fact, no need of more creation of local governments. Let us maintain what we have. Let us hold every sector responsible, the state governments, the federal government, and the local government. And the local government should start be practically in place, not where the state government, the state governors are against the financial government autonomy. So when we have this, then when we are successful in this, then we can start hoping that, okay, then there's need for creation of state. But for now, we don't need more creation of states for better representatives.
Okay, let me go to Lanre. Lanre, quickly, because we are pressed for time. What would you rather consider, a point of priority for in this particular regard? Because I know that you also condemned the initiative, saying that it's not the right move at the right time. What should be the focus instead?
Thank you, Dapo. See, just like my brother has said, you see, what all our people need to do, the right thing is we need to focus on delivering the dividend of democracy to the masses, to the people, ensuring that we have good roads, we have good facilities, we have good education, we have everything good for Nigeria, which will ensure that the states we have can now start generating, can start thinking. The governors and the political class need to start thinking outside the box, because as of 2002 statistical report is saying it's only Rivers, Lagos, and FCT that is contributing to, in terms of internal generated revenue. They are the only one contributing massively and contributing where these are the people, these are the states that can stand alone without federal allocation. Every other state in Nigeria minus Lagos and Rivers, that means the remaining 34 of them must wait for federal allocation, which is totally unacceptable. So what I would be expecting House of Rep members, or especially the National Assembly, both the Senate and the House of Rep should be thinking is, how do we make laws? How do we make policies that will attract foreign direct investment? How do we make laws? How do we make policies that will enable states to deliver and not wait for federal allocation? How do we make the local government autonomous, even when we have the kind of autonomous we said we have, which I don't think is really full autonomous, because the governors is determined will become the local government chairman any which way. But we need to start understanding on how we can ensure that the people and governance is getting to the people in the interland, the people that actually need governance, not people in the cities, but the people in the interland, the people in the trenches, the people in the villages, how people can have access to good road, they have access to good water, they have access to light, they have access to whatever thing they need, access to basic education, basic health. That is what I think they should be doing. I would have expected a House of Rep member should be pushing to ask Nigerians why we are spending billions at the State House clinic, yet the president and the political class say have to travel abroad to go for medical pilgrimage and all that. Where are the billions going to?
All right.
We need to understand that these are the things the Nigerians need, not all these frivolities.
All right. Just finally, Babayomi, what would you say as your, last remark on the program?
Thank you very much. What I would like to add is just that, like we proposed from African National Congress, that our legislation should be on a part-time basis. If our system, that our country does not, like our position, that our country does not need a bicameral legislation. Legislation should be on part-time basis. Where this is the case, a lawmaker will not have the time to entertain this kind of frivolous bill. And when, in fact, not even when at this critical situation where there's widespread economic woes and ruin, where people are struggling, where students are dropping out of school every day, where people could not actually be able to feed well and all. It's so sad that our House of Representatives are focusing on something, inconsequential to the Nigerian people at this critical situation. So, like we said, there's no need for more states, but we need more better representatives and good governance. If we can have this, everybody will be fine. And take a look at the people pushing all these bills. When the federal government pronounced the local government financial autonomy, they were mute. None of them, you see them coming out to...
All right, gentlemen, I'm sorry, Babayomi, but we really need to go right now. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for your time on the program. I deeply appreciate. Thank you. Babayomi Kayode is the AAC State Chairman or your state chapter, and also Lanre Toluhi, a social and political